à l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel. Avec l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, pas de problème de connexion, pas de problème de transfert de vol. Avec l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, c'est le voyage en toute tranquillité, en toute beauté, de votre maison jusqu'à votre destination. Votre satisfaction est notre plaisir.
Hey, welcome to another Saturday afternoon with Ellie Naimal at Tempo Africa TV. So we're gonna give you some of our highlights this week, what has been happening so far. So some of the things that I'm gonna cover for you guys is there was an arrest that was made in Texas, and also Biden inauguration, how it's going to go, and what are the plans and the preparation that everyone may need to know. And last but not least, what is going on in Uganda with the election as well. So let me start with our first topic. So Rachel, um, Rajugraji, I don't remember her last name exactly, but she was one of the lady that was involved in the election during the voting system. So she has been arrested in Texas, and this was last week actually. So she was caught on a video that was leaked on alleging fraud and ballot harvesting and things like that. So they decided to go ahead and make an arrest on her last few days ago, and it was on Project Veritas. So Project Veritas is one of the videos she was on, and Rodriguez, very hard to pronounce her name, so excuse me on that, did acknowledge a video that she was doing what she was doing is illegal and that she could go to jail for it. If convicted, she could face up to 20 years in prison. So that's one of the evidence there. Texas are taking actions in some of these election fraud that has been going on and that has been claimed to be going on in the last few months since the election day. Going on, Airbnb decided to cancel all of their reservations. So anyone who has made any booking through Airbnb has been canceled, and there is a refund for it as well. I know many people are probably out there getting ready for the inauguration and probably thought they could be there for the inauguration, and Airbnb announced that they are canceling. So they are canceling all reservations made in Washington, D.C. metro area during the inauguration week. So this is pretty much starting. It had already started, and we only have a few days before the inauguration. Requesting that people do not travel to the area during this time. The service also blocked any new bookings as well in the area during the period. So Airbnb will refund any guests who have a reservation or who the reservation has been canceled. Based on what's been reported, additionally, is to be aware of the emerging yesterday. There was an armed militias and known hate groups that are attempting to travel and to disrupt the inauguration. So that's one of the major reasons why they are canceling these reservations as well. There's one platform which is Verbo. Verbo is a rental platform, and they are not canceling any reservations at all, and they're also not refunding as well if you had made any reservations through them. So they are the only one carrying out reservations for the inauguration this week. President-elect Joe Biden and his team have canceled a planned rehearsal on Sunday, which would be tomorrow, for Wednesday inauguration because of security concerns. So based on a lot of the securities that are happening and taking place, the rehearsal has been canceled. President-elect Joe Biden Inauguration Committee is refunding a $500 donation from former Senator Barbara Boxer, which is a Democratic Party in California, over her registration as a foreign agent with a firm alleged to have aided the Chinese government civilians of the her ethnic minority. So because she was involved and have identified herself as one of the Chinese agent, the Joe Biden's committee decided to refund her donation. Going on to the inauguration. So this is the day for all the stars that are going to be in the inauguration. I'm pretty sure you guys probably have already heard of who's going to be there, what their plans on, and how pretty lit it is going to be. Lady Gaga will sing the national anthem as Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are sworn in around 12 p.m. in the afternoon on January 20th. This will take place at the west front of the U.S. Capitol, and Jennifer Lopez giving a musical performance. So these guys are pretty thrilled to be there. So it's going to be a big celebration for this new administration. Foo Fighters, John Legend, and Bruce Springsteen will offer remote performance. So there's going to be some remote activities going on there as well. And Eva Longoria and Kerry Washington will introduce segments of the event as well. Due to the coronavirus pandemic this year, events have been reimagined. As you probably heard from a lot of the Democratic and the left politician, is to reimagine what our society would be like with the pandemic or with COVID-19. So it has been reimagined as a mix of virtual and in-person activities. The festivities typically attract hundreds and thousands of people who flock to Washington every year, as you guys see what a normal inauguration would be whenever the president is being sworn in. But this year, only 2,000 attendees will be permitted. So only 2,000 people. For regular Americans like us, there's really not a lot of reason to go there, pretty much because of what happened at Capitol Hill last week. They are worried that there may be some hate group, militias, and some terrorist groups that might try to ruin this inauguration. So only 2,000 attendees are permitted. And some of the celebrities are virtual as well as performing live. Continue on. So last week, all we hear about is impeachment, 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 impeachment. So Nancy Pelosi decided to rush on quick to get with the impeachment to impeach Donald J. Trump. So as far as the solution with that, the impeachment was extremely rushed. It was not by the Constitution. As you guys may read Article 2, Section 4 in the Constitution, is that impeachment takes trials, and it takes time, and it takes months. So when a president is to be impeached in the United States, they would have to go through trial, through the legislation, through the congressman to be tested. And also for 10 Republicans or 10 Democrats to come forward and be a witness as well. So those are the process and the trials of the impeachment. So what they are doing now is they are waiting until after the inauguration is complete, and by then Trump will be out of the office. He will no longer be the president, and Mitch McConnell decide they will continue with the impeachment afterwards. So basically, what the impeachment does is to impeach the president so they do not get an opportunity to run as a president again or be involved in the political realm in the near future. So it takes them out of the picture completely. So Mitch McConnell is continue to process that after inauguration, and we will follow through that, see what happens with the impeachment afterwards. Now going on to coronavirus. So as you guys probably heard from CNN, Governor Cuomo, who recently just announced that we may be opening back up the country and get back to normal, which is going to be pretty shocking to a lot of people as well, after what we all have went through in 2020 with the lockdown, the shutdown, small businesses losing their businesses, their profits. Some are even closed permanently. So it's the political world. This is the politician, professional politician, who knows what they're doing and what games and strategies to play to make sure they get what they want. Um, but we'll cover up on more story about that as things start to come to the open after the inauguration, and report a little bit more update on that. So with the coronavirus, as the first announcement of COVID-19 strand, which is called B117, was found in UK in December, is now reported in Japan, South Africa, and a couple of other countries that it has probably hit already. The health system and the CDC just announced that 12 states here in the United States are now affected with the new strand of coronavirus. And with the World Health Organizations, they haven't announced yet which other countries have the new strand or their COVID-19 has mutated. But things are still pretty devastating in China as far as with the lockdown and COVID-19 keep reappearing as well. So this is a rising question about the new strain in South Africa, which is driving power a second wave of infections. The the variant has already spread to other countries and raised concerns over how it will respond to COVID-19 vaccines. There's a lot of questions about that. So the health organizations reported that the vaccine will also cover the new strand as well. So it does not the new strand does not is not that much different from the first mutate. It's just more stronger and powerful, but the vaccine is able to cover that as well. So pretty much nothing to worry there. And on Sunday, the Japanese Times reported by Japan Health Ministry that a coronavirus variant has been detected in 4 travelers from Brazil's Amazonas state. Brazil's health ministry said it has been notified by Japanese authorities that the new virus has 12 mutations. So there's different coronaviruses, and we're still trying to figure out if each coronavirus has their own mutation or they mutate from one mutation to another mutation to another mutation, and at some point reaching 12 mutations. So that's still more stories to come. The strain differs from highly infectious, which is the first found in Britain and South Africa, that have different surge in cases in these countries. So that's what's going on there here in the United States. Now going on to what is happening in Uganda. So Uganda just held their election on January 14th, which is 4 days ago. So the election took a few days with the ballot counting and also to be able to announce who is the next president of Uganda. I'm pretty sure they probably already announced it. I know yesterday when I checked, they were still counting ballots. So they would say as soon as they're done with that, then they would say who's the official winner. To give you guys a little bit more overview about it, on Thursday, January 14th, general elections were held in Uganda to elect the president and the parliament. Incumbent President Yoweri Museveni, who has ruled the country since 1986, is seeking his re-election term. This is his 6th re-election term. He has been in power for a very, very long time, 1986. Mr. Museveni has no designation of a successor within his party, and in 2017, he signed a law removing the presidential age limit of 75, allowing him to run again for the presidency. Bobby Wine, who is the opponent, decided to take the biggest challenge to Mr. Museveni rules and has mobilized many young people who have not previously been involved in politics. He has sharply criticized the president in the past and accused them of fearing the people. So, part of Bobby's Wine popularity comes down to his age. He is 38 years old, and he is just half as old as the president, Mr. Museveni in one of the youngest nations in the world. So this is an eye-opening to a lot of youth there in Africa, as Bobby Wine opened that platform to know that you could challenge the leader of your country if you don't agree with with their policies and the way they have been running the countries or the things you have witnessed going on in the country. Bobby Wine have proven that he will run for the election, and we will see the results, see if he passes through. Even though he has many followers that really support him, knowing that he is the youngest to ever run for a president at 38 years old in Africa countries. And Uganda is the living testimony of that today. Um, so to continue on a little bit about who he was. So there has been some issues in the past with him being involved in politics. On November 18, 2020, opposition candidate Bobby Wine was arrested for allegedly violating COVID-19 protocols during his presidential campaign in Uganda. The National Unity Platform claimed it was a plot to strive their ability to campaign rather than to follow COVID protocols. Supporters of Wine took to the streets of Kampala and clashing with the security forces. This led to violent protests in which 37 people died and more than 500 people were injured during this process. Wine was arrested again on December 30th in Kampala on not Kampala, Kalangala Island, where a rally he was holding was cut short by the police. Police broke up the rally using tear gas, and Wine was put under house arrest at his home in Kampala. So during his campaign, several aides, bodyguards, and members of his entourage have been arrested, jailed, and killed. So these are some of the politicians that he's been going through lately. And continue on January 13, 2021, Facebook shut down. No, the government shut down Facebook due to the interference of the election, and other fake accounts claimed that were linked to the government. So if you guys remember, this is why people are not connecting with the people of Uganda. There was a huge blockout on all social media from Facebook to WhatsApp as well. And whether it's open now or yet, we don't know yet, but it's supposed to be open after the election is complete. So it was shut down during the time of the election, and to make sure there was not any interference of the election. With further ado, all communications regulator in Uganda order all telecoms firms to block access to social media messaging apps in retaliation. The Uganda government denied the charges and accused Facebook of meddling in the election, saying, "I think they are playing the usual games. We know that they have a side in this election, perhaps." So this was from for President Museveni, um, according to why the Facebook would be shut down. So international observers, including European Union and the United States, were blocked as an observer as well. And in their opinion, they believe that this is part of lacking transparency and also accountability as well. So on January 15, the day after the election, Bobby Wine was announced that Ugandan security force had surrounded and breached his compound after he had alleged that the election has been marred by fraud and violence. Earlier in the day, partial results were released by the Electoral Commission to show incumbent President Museveni was leading Bobby Wine with over 62%, leaving Bobby Wine at 29%. So Bobby Wine, the 38-year-old former musician, he used to be known as a musician and now turned into politician, emerged as the main challenger to the 76-year-old Museveni, who has been in power since 1986 and who recently changed the law to any president can run up to age 76. And based on what Bobby said, we secured a comfortable victory. And his real name, which he is known by Robert Kyagulanyi Sentamu. Sorry, I'm like messing up on the name there. Told reporters in the capital city in Kampala, "I am very confident that we defeated the dictator by far. The people of Uganda voted massively for change of leadership from a dictatorship to a democratic government. But Ms. Museveni is trying to paint a picture that he is in the lead. What a joke," said Bobby Wine. Bobby Wine is not giving in, as he said. He would detail the election irregularities by the ruling party once the internet was restored, which remained down as the vote counting continued. Some of the allegations began to come out in certain. One is from Afwono Opando, government spokesman, told Al Jazeera, "This is what we expected before. Even before we went into polling, he said the election will be rigged." These are allegations that we are used to in the Ugandan elections. Nothing new, he added. So that was the election there that took place in Uganda. So as many probably will go out there in the youngs probably saying that, the election was rigged and it was a fraud. It only rings a question when you hear that there's a leader who has been running the country for many, many decades and doesn't have room for these young leaders to also hold in and take in powers as well. So that's all the update there. Stay tuned for the talk show, which will be aired in the next coming days. So have a wonderful night.
Du nouveau à Minneapolis, Tempo Afrique Travel. Vous voulez voyager? Achetez vos billets d'avion à l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel. Avec l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, pas de problème de connexion, pas de problème de transfert de vol. Avec l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, c'est le voyage en toute tranquillité, en toute beauté de votre maison jusqu'à votre destination. Votre satisfaction est notre plaisir.
C'est encore Yves Kenao. C'est toujours Yves Kenao qui revient. Cette fois-ci, pour vous dire que Tempo Afrique TV vous offre plus de 4000 chaînes de télévision. Les chaînes européennes, les chaînes américaines, les chaînes asiatiques, les chaînes africaines. À un prix imbattable. Tenez-vous bien. $185 pour 12 mois, inclus le box. Alors, où est-ce que vous pouvez trouver mieux que ça si ce n'est pas sur Tempo Afrique TV? Mesdames, Messieurs, appelez seulement le 612 804 0295 et vous serez servi. Vous serez agréablement surpris de voir plus de 4000 chaînes de télévision rouler sur votre écran comme ça et vous choisissez laquelle vous voulez. Alors mesdames, n'hésitez pas. N'hésitez surtout pas et ne faites pas compter. Prenez votre téléphone, prenez le tissu et appelez le 612, le 804, le 02 95. Nous sommes là, ici à Tempo TV, pour rendre votre vie simple et agréable. Alors, saisissez l'occasion. $185 pour toute une année, pour 12 mois inclus le box. Quoi de mieux que ceci?